Hi everyone, welcome to Networking Now India. How are you all doing? Thanks for beginning to log in. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Thank you for tuning into our 3 p.m. live on Networking Now India. So today is a really exciting topic. We're talking all things sustainability and we're talking all things being environmentally conscious and basically loving your surroundings, loving your environment, sustainable products. We're talking about a lot of different things which we haven't discussed before on our lives. So I'm very excited to tell you a little bit about our speakers. Hi Avni. Today we're speaking to Indraneel and Rabia, who are the founders of Ethico. Ethico is a holistic approach to building a society that is socially conscious and responsible, built on the thought that a shift in mindset will bring about a shift in the situation. They are also the front runners of the Mahim Beach cleanup, which you all must have heard about. A very exciting topic for me today because I really want to know how we can make the change, through them and how we can just make changes in our daily life to really live in a better environment. Indraneel and Rabia were hit by the magnitude of the problem lying before them and all of us when they moved to their sea-facing apartment 3 years ago. They were appalled by tons of oceanic litter strewn over the beach, which triggered a sense of urgency leading to the Mahim Beach cleanup. So their company Ethico, which I'll let them tell you a little more about, was a project born out of a passion for a cleaner city and a better tomorrow. So let me get them on.
Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Wow, you guys look so nice and bright and cheerful in this lockdown.
Yeah, I've worn a shirt only for this interview for this session, Sean. So yeah.
We're all in the same boat, right? So very often my friends ask me, how do you do it? I say I just wear black mostly every other day so that I can wear whatever I want, but even if it's just black, it's the same old t-shirt because I think we're all in this very weird phase right now.
Yeah.
No, I think getting up in the morning and deciding what to wear is just, it's like, I feel like, oh, I'm just going to be at home. Like, why do I need to even dress up? But
yeah, I think the moods are fluctuating with every passing day, right? One day you're very productive, the other day you're the exact opposite, and we're just all trying to cope in some way or the other, you know. So today, at least, I would.
The heat is not helping.
Yes.
Yeah, the heat's not helping at all. Yeah.
The heat is not helping. But good to have you guys here. It's an exciting topic and it's something which I think everyone needs to hear, adopt, and listen to. So I want to ask you to start off with to tell me a little bit about both of you, how this came together, what Ethico is, and just a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. Sean, first, thank you for inviting us onto your platform. Before and first is that your introduction. I thought the live ended right after your introduction because you covered it all. No, but thanks for the introduction. So, Sean, before I get into why we started and how Ethico was formed, let's just go back a bit and talk to you about our Mahim Beach cleanup journey and how that began, right? We were fortunate enough to move to a sea-facing house in Mahim in 2017, and we moved during the rains. When we moved, and after moving in, and when we looked out of the window, all we could find is 3.5, 4 feet high garbage all over the beach. You know, couldn't fathom that. And what we did was, like any responsible citizen would do, we called the BMC a couple of times, the helpline. When we didn't get the desired response, we took matters in our own hands and we started cleaning it ourselves, right? And we started with just the front portion of our house and the portion in front of our house. And the next thing you know, you finished 2.5 years and you've covered the whole 1,000-meter Mahim Beach. And we've managed to get 10 lakh kgs of garbage off the beach, the past 2.5 years.
Wow.
It wasn't planned, and we just took each week as it came, and then we went on from there. We set a few objectives before when we started off, we said that one. Sorry. When
Yeah,
sorry.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So when we started off, we set a few objectives for ourselves, right? So the one objective was to get the entire beach clean and educate the volunteers about waste management, right? Educate the volunteers and educate the local community. There's a fisherman community staying on the beach. The idea was to educate them on waste management, right? Second is to get focus on this beach. That's a beautiful beach, and get the government, get the authorities, get citizens to take to be aware of this beach and to access it, right, as a public space. Third was that how do you get the government to give you a solution for the Mithi River problem, right? So the Mithi River meets the sea at Mahim. So we need a filtration system there, which is restraining the garbage from coming into the sea and then onto the shore, right? And the collected garbage could then get recycled, right? Yeah. And the fourth and the most important point was, how do you educate people to change mindsets, right? How do you get them to change behavior? And that sowed the seeds for Ethico, right? So when we interacted with volunteers, they wanted simple solutions to start their conscious living journey. That's what they wanted. They wanted simple solutions. Everybody was talking about the macro problem, but nobody was breaking it down for them, right? And they weren't finding simple solutions to implement in their daily lives. So that led us to launch Ethico. Ethico is, to be simply put, it helps you shift from a regular lifestyle to a conscious lifestyle or a sustainable lifestyle. We do this through content, mainly through content. So we're educating through people who've already made the shift, or we're showcasing stories that are inspiring, that help you make the shift, practices that help you make the shift, and we've also got a small shop section.
For essentials that you can adopt in your day-to-day life, basic essentials.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically helping you understand the problem, and also telling you how your actions impact the environment, and what you can do to change that, and giving you some solutions in terms of items that are on the shop section.
But we're mainly leading through content, and we're saying that, hey, there are great alternatives out there. Why don't you try it? So that's the whole aim.
That's
sorry,
amazing.
Sean,
That's amazing.
we're very camera shy, and we're nervous as hell. So bear with us. And the guys.
But I love that, and let me tell you, when I started doing these lives, I decided it's going to be super casual, like a living room chat. So don't worry about it. As you can see, I'm just listening. I'm having a regular chat, and honestly, the main thing is I would love people to learn from whatever you say, because I think that if we can all be inspired by you and make that change, and this is a change I've been wanting to make for a while. So this is some, we can, in our small ways, we can actually change a lot in our life, which can be very positive. So don't worry about it. And I want to also ask you your thoughts on the fact that now in this lockdown, suddenly I'm seeing a lot more people become so conscious. They weren't earlier. But I think there are so many more people are willing to adopt this, environment-friendly life. So what's your take on that? Do you think as Indians, much more of us are ready to adopt this lifestyle?
I think, like you said, this COVID-19 has kind of, made us realize, that we need to slow down, we need to slow down. And also it has taught us how to live with limited resources. So I think while 2.5 months or 3 months ago, there were, if you talked about sustainability, it seemed more impossible. I think this has been like a training session, these 2.5, 3 months that we've been in a lockdown. And I think that, I think the world has never before needed people to switch to a sustainable lifestyle more than it does today. And it's unfortunate that a crisis had to make us realize that. But I also feel that although it's challenging, it is possible, because reusing, recycling, repairing, all of these values
Yeah.
were part of our cultural philosophy earlier, So,
Yeah.
but in the last few decades, I think we shifted to this use and throw culture.
And overconsumption.
Overconsumption.
Overconsumption. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I think the biggest thing which I always feel that, out of the 5 hours or probably the 6 hours now, refuse and reduce are the most important, because that can help us with the amount of waste that we generate, help us lead a more sustainable lifestyle. So if we are able to reduce our consumption, I think that's a good start.
I think that's what, like, just extending from what Rabia is saying, that COVID-19 has made us realize that living simply is possible, right?
Yeah.
You can do with so many things that you think you couldn't do without, right?
Yeah.
So it's sad that we've had to go through this crisis to realize this. But I think, Shan, also, leading sustainable lives is going to work differently for different sections of society, right? People who are trying hard to survive, it's extremely, it's going to be challenging to be able to bring their focus onto having discussions on waste management, leading sustainable lives, because they're going to be worried about how they're going to provide for the next meal, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's that being said, it's not impossible. That's what we do with Mahim Beach Cleanup, right? I think a lot of social enterprises and people groups working on ground need to start building communities, and those communities don't need to be about just cleaning the beach or the neighborhood, needs to be about improving well-being and lives of people staying around it. Because only if lives improve will you be able to to have open, actionable chats on waste management and leading sustainable lives, right?
Yeah.
And Shan, I just want to add 1 or 2 more points to this.
Please,
and
go ahead.
I also think what's going to happen is that, eco-friendly products are handmade, right? And they're handmade, the good quality, they are a bit expensive. But I think investment in social enterprises and green businesses will help change that and help find solutions to that. And I also think that apart from helping us find solutions, I think the corporates, right, this is where they come in. So even if a low-income family is not able to buy eco-friendly products, but what the corporate can do is introduce single-use plastic packaging or sustainable packaging, which is easy to recycle, right? They don't need to They don't need to wait for the government to set a rule for them to say, hey, listen, now you need to introduce sustainable packaging. So I think this is a good time for factories to be proactive and introduce solutions that every person from every walk of life can follow or take on,
And I think that will also help with mass.
Absolutely agree.
I think
I was going to say, I have a point here, like considering COVID-19, nobody wants to go to the market and everyone's finding it very difficult to wait in lines for a store, right? And I'm noticing, so we have a vegetable market in my building, and I'm noticing almost 60 people coming with their own bags. No other time would you go with your own bag, but that's the step one of not wasting, paper, not wasting plastic, or a plastic that you can't reuse. So I hope that this is something they take with them even post COVID-19 and keep this as adopt this as something permanent. It's a small change, but it's a change.
No, I definitely think that people from all walks of life have understood that there is a problem, right? Now, how they're able to action some changes in their life and stick to it is going to be something to look out for, and for us to also in this space to activate,
Yeah. Totally agree. So I want to ask you one more thing, which is, did you have any difficulty when you were trying to, go sustainable or even make a few changes? I'm sure it's hard. It's not easy. I know people who live a completely, eco-friendly life, and they even compost at home and stuff, and it's not easy. There is a bit of an effort that goes into it.
It's not easy at all.
it's not easy. Products are more expensive. You know, you have to source them from different places. So can you tell us a few of the challenges you guys faced when you started adopting this lifestyle?
I think, yeah, like, I think, I used to earlier feel that before Mahim Beach Cleanup, I used to feel that I'm very conscious. I would read articles on the environment, but I think what really made a big change for us was seeing ground reality when we went down onto the beach and we saw the damage firsthand. And that just made us so conscious of our consumption, basically. But like like you said, it is not easy. There is a reason why it's called convenient lifestyle. So this is not convenient, but the idea is, Shan, to just start somewhere, to take that first step. And I think it was one solution leading to another solution. And also when we started researching for Ethico, we were surprised there are so many alternatives that are available out there for your regular plastic products. And that's what we wanted to do with Ethico, was to bring all of them under one umbrella, so that it's easy for somebody else who's wanting to make that shift, that they find all the solutions there.
Shan, it's not easy. I'll tell you, when I was employed with a large media company 3 years back, and my only worry in life was, am I doing my job okay? Am I getting acknowledged by my superior? Am I going to get that increment? How much money am I going to make? Which is the car I'm going to get? What is my peer driving? How many trips is he doing? So you're constant. It's all about yourself, right? And my weekend activity used to be either a restaurant or going to malls. So like Rabia said, Mahim Beach Cleanup changed everything. So I think for people watching this, they have to find their own patch, either or when volunteers come to the beach, they realize the magnitude of the problem, and then it gets easier for them to make changes, and it's not easy at all. And also the problem with climate change is that sometimes it's not so apparent, right? You can't,
it's not directly,
you can't tell the damage that you're making to the environment, to the planet, right? So you say that, hey, listen, I'm going to be disciplined for one day, but next day I'm okay, because you're not seeing the direct harm that you're causing. And then you lose the momentum, of following the conscious lifestyle, or the sustainable lifestyle, that journey. So I think one is that if you stop being ignorant, we try and understand the problem. That we're humans, we're smart, we start finding solutions, and then it's about following a discipline, and that's the tough part. Taking the shop bag and seeing that the cloth bag is with you all the time you go out is thing that you have to. So there are a lot of people who do it, but a far larger number needs to follow.
I completely agree. And tell me, is there a way, if you could give us, I know it's tough and I know it takes a lot of, like you're saying, 2.5 years ago, your life was so different. I'm sure it's changed a lot now. And, how is that? Is there anything like 3-4 things you can mention which you made the change, which probably we can adopt? I do some things, like when I go to work, I take my own water bottle. I just keep filling that. Or like I have a bamboo toothbrush. Or even like now, of course, carrying your own bag everywhere. Or like cycle wherever you can. Don't drive your car where you can. So maybe something like this, which is easier, that we can do.
Okay, so I'll start. So we've got the largest bottle of collection of reusable alcohol bottles that we use to drink water from. So we've not got a single plastic bottle for.
Or I think even like a glass bottle from the market. It's just all our wine bottles and alcohol bottles
being upcycled to drinking water bottles.
Office, I think it's it was funny when we were just the team that you hire, and everybody has either a wine bottle or a Scotch bottle that they're drinking water
it's
from.
It's quite exquisite, actually. Everybody should try it.
My best friend, whenever we go to her house, she only serves us water in black label bottles. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Shan, I'm a big foodie, but we've kept in control the amount of times we order from outside, and every time we order, we are constantly checking to see if the restaurant delivers food in sustainable packaging. If the packaging comes in plastic, we make sure to rinse it simply with very little water and ensure that it goes into recycling. So every month we collect our recyclables, and then we see that it gets recycled, right? What we've also done is that the single layer plastic is easy to recycle as compared to the multi-layer plastic. And a lot of packaging comes into multi-layer plastic. So you have to find a Rathiwala who takes multi-layer plastic. That's a bit of effort. So simply just giving it to the Rathiwala, a lot of Rathiwalas take it, but they don't send it ahead for recycling.
Yeah.
Ravi, do you want to?
And I think we switched to a bamboo toothbrush. That was, I think, one of the first products changed. Switched to a bamboo toothbrush, and then again trying to recycle, because even now we are using more eco-friendly organic shampoos and conditioners. But before that, it was all your shampoo bottles, face wash, all of these bottles going to the Rathiwala. In India, I think it's this is such a easy solution. We have Rathiwalas in every neighborhood. So that's just utilizing that.
Shannon, what happened to us is that we started. We found a lot of products on the beach, right? A lot of products get washed up on the shore. And then we realized that these are the problem products, these are the nuisance products, and you try and do away with them, in your day-to-day life.
And find alternatives for them,
I want to read a comment from M Foods. He's a member with us. And he says, Ganesh Festival has become a very big cause of polluting the sea. It's high time people realize and go eco-friendly. People should learn from their mistakes and switch to metal idols, or they can reuse the idol every year. He also runs a food company, and he says we try and use eco-friendly packaging for our deliveries. Maybe you should check out Ethico, because if you guys can help in a way, and it can be something that you can provide to these caterers.
Absolutely, because we retail products and services, so absolutely we'll get in touch with him, and it's all about collaborating, right? That's the only way we'll survive this crisis.
Exactly.
When the point
so tell me, you guys.
Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
No. Tell me.
I was saying that's a good point that he brought out the Ganpati idols, because that's every year after the Visarjan, we see so many of those idols on the beach, and and I mean, it was in the news of 10 days ago that POP idols would be stopped, but now I guess it's postponed to next year.
The onus has to be lies on us. We have to pre-plan, and also Shan, this whole attitude of we would ye karte aa rahe hain, and this is the habit, and like I was having a chat with somebody and said that, hey, listen, you put up a post on you shifting to becoming a vegetarian, but we are so used to it, and how can we shift, and we're eating meat 5-6 times a day, but you can't in a week 5-6 times a week, and you can't be ignorant anymore. You have to understand and we're not saying you have to understand the problems and the consequences your actions have on this planet.
Absolutely.
And nobody's saying give it up. We're saying control, balance. We have this attitude of overdoing everything. That has to be checked. That has to be checked.
Absolutely. So of course, when my team and I were speaking to you, and we of course came to know about your fest, which is the Open Door Fest, and I'd love to know more about that. What is that? When do you all host it? What's it about?
Okay, so listen, we took the first day, we took a lot of time to get a lot of people on the beach. A lot of people didn't know that Mahim Beach existed, So the first year we were doing around about 15 to 30 volunteers, and in the second year is when we've gone up to 150 volunteers who turn up every Saturday at 8 a.m. to do their bit, So it's amazing how the journey so far. Open Door Fest was a way to lure volunteers and citizens to come at the public space and to get them to take up civic action. So the thought was very simple: come clean the beach, and in exchange of that, we'll give you some well-curated free entertainment. Because places abroad, countries abroad, are always doing this, right? And why can't you do it here? So we do this in collaboration with BMC, We let them know that we're doing this, and only after that approval, we get some of our artist friends to perform for us. And most of those artists are also cleaning before they go up on stage and they perform. But it's a beautiful set
Wow.
to see all of them perform and have the sea right next to you, And
Yeah.
what we've also done as part of Open Door Fest, we've done 3 so far. Yeah, we've done 3 so far.
This is the third one.
This is
that
the
we're
third
doing,
one, yeah.
we're
So
doing
we've done 3 so far, and we've paid access also. It's not just related, limited to music. It's all kinds of emerging artists can come and participate. So we, from painting the access walls to the beach, to painting the peripheral walls on the shore, to music, to somebody playing an instrument, So we try to
Amazing.
make try to make volunteering fun. That's the whole objective, Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
I
Such a good idea.
And
Yeah.
during COVID, we are actually doing it online, because we can't be on the beach, and so we miss being with the community. So to stay connected, we've been doing this for the last 8 weeks now. Every Saturday, instead of cleaning the beach, we get online, and one of our artist friends, performs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's such
Yeah.
a good idea, because you're right. You'd rather get people, there. So for example, I live in Colaba, and I know that
Right.
my friends and I have always wanted to come to do the beach cleanup, but it's very early and it's far, and
Yeah.
I know that should not be an excuse. But we did go for one here, which was not a beach cleanup, but closer. But I wish
Right.
people would adopt this attitude and really replicate it in places, because it could make such a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Shan, we keep telling people that you don't have to be part of a big fancy beach cleanup movement, right? You have to find a
Yeah.
friend, find somebody in your family, and start and pick an area that's close to you. You have to pick something that you can be consistent to, you
Yeah.
know. Yes, you can go to other places to understand the problem, to see how community development happens and take learnings from there. But it is important for you to take on things that you can stay consistent to,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And there is so much
much
need
to-
for it, right? There's so much to do, Shan. You step out of your
Yes.
building and there are dirty footpaths to people honking away like there's no tomorrow. And there's so many ways of bringing about change,
It's
If
all about
nothing
us.
else-
It's about us
Yeah.
making that change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a simple, sorry, I'm getting carried away with this this discussion. But Shan, I can if I have a signal where there is extreme noise pollution, just take a honk placard and stand on that signal one day of the week. You can,
Right.
simple things like that, and more people will follow.
Yes,
They'll say,
yes.
hey, this he's mad, but on the 5th or 6th day when the honking goes down, there'll be 20 other people joining him. So that's how
Yes,
it works.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Completely agree. So
Yeah.
I actually did that. So I'm not for the honking, of course, but I'm very passionate about helping old senior citizens and old people. And in my
Yeah.
lane, a lot of people would, whenever a senior citizen was getting out of the car, they would just honk from the back. And
Yeah.
firstly,
Yeah.
it's noise pollution. Secondly, the
Yeah.
poor old person is trying to get out of the car, and you're like, they could break a leg, they could fall, they could
Yeah.
do anything because of your tension and pressure.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that if I heard that sound, I would go running down because I'm on the first floor, and pick up the fight for that old lady.
Yeah.
So I think now all the watchmen in the area have gotten, they realize that we are doing it, so they should take the lead as well.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
by example, it just kind of
Yeah.
became bigger.
No,
So I know what you mean.
No,
Yeah,
that's very good.
Shan, we have to, I think a lot of us have good intentions. We're good, considerate people. I think we spend too much procrastinating. That's one. And a lot of these things, and I don't mean to preach. I've gone through all of this, right?
Yeah.
One is that we procrastinate a lot. We then say it's not our job to do; it's somebody else's job to do. Third is
Yeah.
that we shy away from having conversations, right? And fourth is that we are just so conscious about what people will think and say and do that you're
Yeah.
okay with things being abused and going wrong, but rather than thinking that you're going to embarrass yourself by having that conversation, So
Yeah.
this attitude has to change, right? It has
Absolutely right.
we have to act. Yeah, and conversation, Shan, I'm telling you. Going up to a person and having a conversation and not talking down to, but talking with, makes
Yes.
a lot of difference.
Lot of difference.
Lot of difference. Yeah. I don't believe I'm saying all these. I don't believe I'm saying all these things 3 years back. I wouldn't have been, you know.
And Rabia's laughing in the side while you're saying it. Also, she's giggling.
I don't think she's still convinced. I don't think she's convinced that I've changed.
But it's great. I think it's great because whenever it happens, change happens, and it's for the good. So that's fine. I also want to ask you is if you could share any suggestions of documentaries that we can watch, or any, it's something that has a lot of information with which we can learn from as well, to just live a better life and a more environment-friendly life.
Right.
Sham, so
I actually watched a lot of documentaries during this lockdown.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of documentaries, and we've also suggested some documentaries too. We've also suggested books and documentaries to read on Ethico. So if someone's on to Ethico, they'll find that. But couple of shows that we've watched that have been that have just changed our point of view on the current situation and the prop crisis. Cowspiracy. I've watched Cowspiracy, and I'm happy to tell you that for 2 months I've had no meat. I'm a big foodie, and I've given up dairy and non-veg for the past 2 months, and I'm enjoying it. I'm feeling lighter, and I'm enjoying it.
Wow.
The other show that we watched, Plastic Ocean. We watched another show called Plastic Ocean.
Tidying up with Marie Kondo, that's really good because it helps you declutter, which is something. Yeah. And I love how she does it. So that's a good one to watch.
Amazing. Yeah.
Shows are a lot of these shows are all fact based. Yeah. So they're saying this is a problem, but they're backing it up with numbers and facts. Science, and they're eye openers, Sean. They're real eye openers. Yeah, and the one on minimalism, which is
It wasn't called minimalism.
It's called minimalism. Yeah. We can go on, Sean.
Oh, cool. Are these on Netflix?
On Netflix.
One's on Netflix
and one's on Amazon. Yeah.
Planet Ocean is on Netflix. Okay. Plastic Ocean.
Yeah. We'll message the guys. We'll put in the links here.
Yeah, and message them to me so I can put it up and tag you guys. That'll be great. The last thing that I want to ask you also is post COVID-19, what are the changes that you see in terms of participation in events? Actually people coming for a beach cleanup. Of course, right now, hopefully there's no reason for a cleanup. I think our surroundings are looking lovelier than ever. But I'm sure when we go back to normal, there might be a reason. So what do you think about planning events for the future?
So one thing is that like you said, there is obviously there's less garbage coming onto the shore, and in these last 2 months it's been less. We can see it from our window, but it's probably got to do with the fact that we are indoors and there is less littering. And the biggest contributor, like Indraneel said earlier, was Mithi. That brings in the garbage, dumps into the sea. So a lot of the small industries and units that are on the banks of the Mithi have been shut. So that has also reduced the amount of waste coming in. But of course, it will change now because the monsoons, the currents change. The sea throws out a lot more. But I think in terms of events and organizing, we'll have to follow the guidelines.
Sean, actually, nobody knows, right? We really don't know. But one is that we're very clear. We're going to be very cautious. We're going to be very cautious. We're going to follow all the rules. We are going to try and restrict our work. Also, what we've been doing during lockdown is to more on community development and one-on-ones with families that need help, right? Rather than doing mass cleanup. And the idea is to engage with the BMC. They've become far more efficient, but to engage with them to see that they're doing the job and we can't, and they have been doing it during the lockdown. So we personally, we can't wait to get out, right? And it'll be good to mention others, we don't want others to follow. So it's been tough, and we can't wait to meet our group again, with, our community. But that being said, once I think another 3-4 months, I think we'll be very careful on doing anything that's that's offline. We
Yeah.
yeah, and do a lot more online activity, So yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And I hope as soon as this gets over and things are back to normal, I'm back again and I can come with you guys for the cleanup. That'll be great.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you one last thing. So if somebody wants to order from Ethico, what kind of products can they expect? And also what your website is, if you can just leave that with us here.
Okay, so
it's ethicoindia.com.
Yeah.
That's the website.
Yeah.
And so we've got we've partnered with about 30 brands so far, and it's essential items. So your personal hygiene, to home products. Like using a more eco-friendly organic floor cleaner, kitchen essentials.
Yeah. So Sean, couple of things. So they're cruelty-free.
Yeah.
They're chemical-free. We use zero plastic packaging in what we send out. Every packaging that we've the packaging are either made with organic ink, or they're compostable. But they all have to be ethically sourced or produced, and all the products listed are after we've had several interactions with brand partners and social enterprises to see that they are following all the checks required.
Yeah.
But it's tough, Sean.
Not easy.
Not easy. It's just the logistics is one big issue we are trying to solve. You might want to send out paper packaging, but will it last the trip to the consumer?
Yeah.
Sean, I just wanted to add one more point. Before we end this discussion, Sean, I think it's very important for the people who are watching this that they need to have a plan post lockdown, right? We can't go back with the approach of taking over, and we have to be far more empathetic towards other species and everybody else we're sharing this planet with. We can't forget that. We tend to forget that. The approach of taking over has to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely agree. And right
there.
now they've just reclaimed their space. They've just reclaimed their place on this, in our surroundings. So I think it's only fair that we don't go back and try to snatch that away. But it's been so inspiring chatting with the both of you. I hope that I can make a small difference and even try. But I will be shopping from Ethico soon, and I think it's very important that everyone does that as well, because like you said, right now we're using floor cleaners and cleaners the most. So why not keep that also sustainable and keep that eco-friendly, because that can make a real difference for our future.
Yeah. It has to be natural. It has to be natural and chemical free. But Sean, we are the inspiration comes from the person we're talking to. You've run a successful business for so many years. We will call you and talk to you and get some feedback on how we can do what we do. But thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks so much for joining me and agreeing to come to chat about this. And I promise you, once the lockdown's over, I'll be with you cleaning that beach. So I'm excited about that.
Superb, Sean. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.